Well, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folaring. This morning, we're going to be having our conversation with two lawyers, two friends of the House. Malachy Ugwumadu to my right, human rights lawyer, former president, Committee for the Defense of Human Rights. Thank you, as always, Malachy, for showing up.
A pleasure to be here. Good morning, viewers.
Our pleasure. And also, Barrister, I could have said Engineer Wale Ogunade, but I think it's better to say Barrister Wale Ogunade. Well, the joke about Engineer Wale Ogunade is that the man is Voters Awareness Initiative convener, and you know, it takes some engineering. This whole voters awareness matter. Most of the times, we're not even sure what exactly it means, and that's one of the things that we'll be talking about today. The whole machinery of electoral matters, in particular as it relates to Section 115 of the Electoral Act revised. And this is going to the whole matter about candidature and what is allowable, what is not allowable. And then this again is against the backdrop of what we've seen in recent times, where candidates are involved in seeking more than one office in the same election cycle, which it is thought, you know, layman reading the act ordinarily would think that you can't do that. But we found situations where people, for example, the clearest example is they vied for the ticket of the presidential candidate of their party. When that didn't happen, they, you know, sort of went into other matters and are now vying for the senatorial ticket of that same party. So these things, how doable they are is what we'll talk about today and understand them probably a bit better. So welcome, gentlemen. Wale Ogunade and Malachy Ugwumadu.
Thank you for inviting me.
Indeed. Could I take off with you Section 115? Both you guys are thoroughly conversant with it.
Yes.
And that confusion of the ordinary layman, the ordinary man, can you appreciate it? Because, in fact, a resident electoral commissioner once said that people are in danger of finding, 2 years in jail if they're not careful the way things are going. But Mr. Okoye of INEC has said that, well, people are a bit confused. They need to understand that there is a difference between an aspirant and a candidate. And you began to laugh there, so explain it to me, please.
There is no stress about this thing. It is those who want to play pranks that are confused. The law is written in simple English. All you need to know to read the law is for you just to know how to read and write. Section 115 is very, very clear. Don't mind the politicians. The only thing they know how to do is to polish tricks. Nothing more. They know that an election is coming. And you cannot contest 2 offices in one election. And they know that there are windows closed for one office or the other. You want to contest for the office of president, then of course it's simultaneous with that of the Senate and any other office in that window, in that circle. And the Electoral Act is clear. If you want to contest for one office, you cannot contest again for another office. You cannot pick 2 nomination forms in the same circle. It's clear. That's what is stated in Section 115,
okay.
Particularly in Section A, D, C, E, F. They are just written. And of course, anyone who at this level, the person cannot tell me he doesn't know. A Lawal cannot say he does not know because he's the chief lawmaker of the country, not to talk of Akpabio, who have moved around, and all of them in that circle. So telling us that this thing is confusing is a big issue that nobody will take from them.
Okay, one moment, please. Malachy, and I have to take it, on your word, if it is, and that was my thinking before, say, look, it's English, really. It's not written in Russian.
Or Ukraine.
So why is there this apparent need for a conversation over the matter? Are these matters being looked at emotionally? Because when you leave the straightforward intellectual, black is black, gray is gray, and white is white, then you enter the territory that we find ourselves in today. Why do you think there is a sort of an emotional interpretation?
Well, the word I would like to use is a mischievous interpretation.
Okay.
If we get caught by emotion or sentiment, we'll be driving further from what is playing out. Section 115, subsection D in particular, of the Electoral Act 2022 sets out to prevent politicians from junketing and, if you like, forum shopping. It is the equivalent of forum shopping as we have in law practice. That is the mischief that particular section set out to cure. Do not forget that the electoral history of Nigeria has consistently witnessed amendments of our electoral laws at each turn and curve, arising from the malfeasance, the noticeable, malpractices, which the experiences of previous elections have thrown up. And so in this particular instance, the law seeks to prohibit such a situation in which politicians, contestants, mischievously occupy their position in one breath and extend their aspiration to yet another office by way of equally aspiring and, criminalized it. Prohibited it in such a way that it attracts punishment in the event of conviction. Mm-hmm. And that is 2 years imprisonment. I did not see any option of fine there as an alternative.
Which probably shows the seriousness.
Intensity, the seriousness of what is sought to be achieved. So, Lawal, for instance, President of the Senate, is the chairman of the National Assembly. We understand the chief law officer is the Attorney General, that's section 150. But this one is the architect in the final analysis of the legislations that we have, including the latest amendment of the Electoral Act. So what is the problem?
That indeed is
the problem, question. In my view, has not escaped the routine but dubious efforts of our political actors to manipulate and consistently seeking ways to undermine the due process of the law. And that is what we have at our hand in many states now.
Indeed.
What has made it worrisome this time is that the election monitoring body that is supposed to be an umpire, a regulator, or be detached, is by conduct, clear conduct, particularly regarding the powers they reserve under the same amended Electoral Act, specifically section 84, subsection 13, to look the other way as if the problem has not started.
Everything is all right. There's no problem. As if that is the situation.
Mr. Yori, it could be very depressing. I have done election matters where you see somebody who did not purchase a nomination form, who did not contest for an election, turning out to be the person, the name submitted to INEC.
So, Wale, I called it, tried to be delicate about it. I called it an emotional understanding or interpretation. Malachy said, forget all of that. He would use the word mischievous. Now, why INEC is INEC, independent. that independent part, I'm just getting to be a bit worried because the kind of, first of all, it needs to be said, following some elections that we've also conducted and that we've all been party to, we participated in, INEC has a healthy balance in the goodwill department. People are saying, well, you know, give it to INEC, they're trying. Do you think this could possibly begin to squander this hard-earned, you know, goodwill now that INEC is at peace with certain things like a new phenomenon in our polity, placeholders, for instance? Suddenly, we suddenly got used to something called a placeholder.
You have already taken the seal from me, the questions, the way you couched it. And I'll take it this way. In the first instance, INEC is a creation of the law by virtue of Section 153, subsection paragraph F of 1999 Constitution. And by virtue of that creation, INEC owes its life and responsibility and duty to the Constitution, which gives it that power in Section 1, subsection 1 again, that all persons and authority, all institutions created must subscribe to the Constitution. We will leave that one and go into the Electoral Act itself. That gives it now that it must be unbiased in its activities. But is INEC not biased? Events happening now shows, because the rules are clear.
Where would you cite as an instance of such a bias?
Look at the Lawal, the Akpabio, and all these matters that are coming up.
Okay, okay.
This thing is that once a matter, I mean, look, they don't carry out, once an election has been concluded, it is concluded. That's the primary and the whatever one they do. For starters, these were new things that were done before. It took stakeholders like us to put INEC on its toes to ensure that they monitor party primaries. If you remember, and my brother Malachy, there was a time that primaries for Osun State governorship will be held in Ibadan, or your state. And there was a time in your Delta, I'm sure you are from Delta, in Delta State, people, they left Delta, maybe because it's just across the river, and they went to Onitsha to conduct their primary election, primaries. That's political parties. And we said, no, there's what we call jurisdiction in law. And of course, once you leave that area to another place, that's not for that state. Thank God INEC has corrected itself in that regard. And of course, before this time, the INEC officers don't attend any of these political parties when they are having their events, their elections or convention. Again, they have gotten to that level now that they attend. So what is the problem now that your officers attend the event and you now overrule whatever report they bring? Obviously, that's not it.
Okay. You know
and my brother, let me just land it here.
Okay, land it because I've got to go on a break.
John 8:32.
Which part of the Constitution is that?
No, it's the Bible. That's the Supreme Book.
Okay.
It says, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Institutions must follow the truth in all their activities. By the time they bend corners, they bend rules, definitely it will cause chaos. And it may remove this goodwill that you say that they are earning. They better think fast. One music master, Ayla Omawura, sang a song. I'm sorry for you. That's why I'm advising you.
All right, then. We're looking at the way INEC is handling, going about its business, quite frankly. And we were saying that, you know, it has some goodwill following its conduct of some elections. But then we're now beginning to look at aspects and begin to ask that, look, where is that independent part of the name of INEC, where INEC as a regulator, should monitor and ensure that every aspect of the laws, especially the Electoral Act, are complied with. I did say that Mr. Festus Okoye has sought to sort of explain that there are issues between, nomenclature such as candidature and aspirants and that kind of a thing. But it's not washing very, very much with a lot of people. What do you think is, because people are actually beginning to be concerned that, is it possible, is INEC being pressured, dare I use the word, is it being pressured one way or the other, so that it comes up with what people are now beginning to refer to as contentious positions?
I have once appeared before a judge, and let me mention his name because I attribute Justice Dimba, Nnamdi Dimba, and they said, a law must first make a common sense before it makes a legal sense. I internalized that word and have, since then, tried to apply it even in my personal interpretation of the law as I advocate the law. Mr. Okoye, Comrade Okoye, Festus Okoye, is a national commissioner in charge of voters' education.
Yes, that's right.
I think he will do more to convince some of us about his present postulations.
Okay, and I'm going to put it on pause there, and I'm going to come straight back to you because Rose called in from Berger. Good morning, Rose.
Good morning. Good morning to everybody in the studio. Can you hear me?
No, I'm afraid not, but I will soon. I'm sure I will soon.
Can you hear me now?
Better.
It's a bit better. Please carry on.
All right. I say good morning to all of you in this
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Please, I just want to beg the lawyers, the politicians, because they're actually getting us confused. Because we don't get to even understand the interpretations of the whole the constitution. One court will say one thing, another court will say one thing, and they are the same courts within the same jurisdiction, as the lawyers always say. Because I don't understand why after election, all right, somebody has won the Senate seat, and they have submitted names, and suddenly they will come up with other names again. They are getting us confused. In fact, we are prepared for 2023 election, but we just want to understand the whole situation. They are getting us confused. Even the lawyers, they are getting us confused. Please make Nigerians understand what is going on. And to be honest with you, the INEC, they should be very, very careful with what they are doing, because we want to believe in them. We want to believe that our votes will count in 2023, so that we don't just go collecting PVCs. At the end of the day, it will still be the same thing. And for lawyers, please, I don't understand. Please interpret the Constitution to the extent that the laymen will understand it. That is my contribution for this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Rose. This seems to dovetail beautifully into the quote that Malachy shared with us, that a law has to first of all make
a common sense.
Make common sense
before it makes a legal sense.
Before it makes legal sense.
And it's important. In short, I thank Madam Rose, but what I thought she would be charitable in at least appreciating that thus far, at least on this particular program, we have been
lawyers.
We have been very clear. We have been subjected to give our own ideas or understanding of Section 115 of the Electoral Act 2022. And there's no ambiguity in what we are saying.
That's what you are saying.
It is that there is a mischief sought to be cured, and that mischief has found expression in Section 115, to the effect that no aspirant shall be permitted to sign or purchase, sign two nomination forms in the same constituency.
So why is INEC allowing it?
So why then is INEC? So the confusion should go to INEC, not the lawyers this time. I need to defend them. But please, I think that we, as Nigerians, including Madam Rose, people are approaching this coming election with some degree of enthusiasm, believing, as it were, that we have suffered a lot of disenfranchisement, either by way of corrupt political activities or misapplication of the law. And at this time around, particularly judging from the surge in the collection of PVCs, we want our votes to count. And in that circumstance, there have been a build-up in favor of INEC, which is the goodwill you talked about, interpreting some of the innovations incorporated into the process to be very, very profound. Beavers, the transmission, electronic transmission, and so on and so forth. So this one, which is why I'm challenging my good friend and colleague, he should tell us more about what is happening. To what extent are we, even lawyers, supposed to understand a situation in which after the purchase, close of purchase of nomination forms, names submitted as required, names published, and you have yet another version of names that will substitute what the people have done.
Okay.
Do not forget, sir, that, look, this whole thing about election, technically, is to locate the will of the people.
That's right. That's right.
Those of us who fought for the validation of June 12 have just one principle. We had one principle. That was, you cannot, however high you are, undermine the will
Of the people.
Of the people. 1 second, please. Right Honorable Imego calls in from Asaba in Delta State. Good morning to you, Honorable.
Good morning.
Please carry on.
Yes, I want to contribute to the debate.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. In fact, my brother, Senior Malachy, was saying hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, was saying
if it's
something
possible
about
to speak up a bit because we can hardly hear you.
National Commissioner, before the lady came on, I think he lost that. INEC is going to compromise this election come 2023. Hello?
Yeah, please carry on, please.
Hello. I said INEC President Okoye is not transparent. It's compromised. Delta State election, there was a court judgment against INEC, against PDP. Instead of INEC to obey court order, they were writing the party. When the party didn't respond, they should have uploaded the name of the candidate that the court ordered him to do. Rather, they have refused to upload the name. I'm an authority. In 2010, when I ran for an election, somebody who didn't contest, my party uploaded his name as candidate. Yes. 3 days to the election, while I was campaigning in the village, a court judgment was given in my favor. I just called my lawyer from Abala. Say, please, get the enrollment order and submit. He did. INEC uploaded my name. And my name came on the ballot 3 days to the election, 2011, to House of Rep. So, President Okoye, the National Commissioner, must be watched carefully. Otherwise, I see him as not being truthful. He comes to say, resident electoral commissioners are not members of INEC. How can that be? If this INEC is going to destroy this election, not the politicians. It is very simple. Resident electoral commissioners conduct the election in the ward, in the unit. They upload the names, and you come to national television and say you are a lawyer, and say they are not members of the commission, and the constitution makes them so. So what I'm pleading with INEC, what happened with Mosu time, when we had the problem we had, is going to happen in 2023 if INEC is not put on check. Thank you very much.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Honorable Imegu. Wale, would you like to, react to that? Because I saw that you were nodding in some aspects.
Yes, the man is a victim, and is displaying his anger. And I want INEC to be very careful. I like the way you made that statement and the word you use. The issue of they having the goodwill of the people. And I heard that word from Malachy in a program before, years ago, when we were on a set like this, squandering. I hope they will not squander
the goodwill. You don't want to squander the goodwill that has been,
They fought hard to get it. Nobody gave INEC any chance until Jaga came in. And now that it's being built up, they should watch it because Nigerians are not, they are now wise. We are no more in 1919. Programs like this have been coming up. When we started voters awareness about 20 years ago, people said it can't work. But here we are today. Years ago, nobody heard about primaries, nothing like that. You just heard that people get into offices. Elections back, there were something else. But today, you hear about primaries, you hear about contesting, you hear about people doing all sorts of things so as to get the votes and get the people to support them. Not now, and nobody, before it can be somebody who just sit there in a corner, write the name of people who can go for one office or the other. But now, like the football team, everyone will fight for his shirt, and they are now fighting for the shirt. Nobody should try and trample again on what my brother said here some few minutes ago, the will of the people. Democracy is about the government of the people, by the people, for the people. That's the schoolboy definition of democracy. And for your information, voting itself is the voters' festival. The voters, that's the time they display their power. Because now, or very soon, elections will come up. All candidates, no matter who they are, they will come out seeking your vote. You will now be the king. They'll be begging you.
And why it's particularly important is that it seems that in this cycle of our elections, a lot more people than before, than hitherto, the youths in particular, who make a very significant difference, are going to be part of this. And so this is where INEC really needs to watch it. You know, Ada has come on the line. Good morning to you, Madam Ada in Jos.
Good morning, Mr. Yori and your guests there. Ada calling from Jos Plateau State. Let me tell you something, Mr. Yori, just like your guests have mentioned there. That section 115 is clear. Even me, I'm not a learned gentleman or what, you know, although I'm an educationist, but they are learned. I understood it, you know, very well. So I don't understand what INEC is trying to do. INEC should be very careful. You know, we are trying to build up some confidence in them with Osun and Ekiti elections to some reasonable extent. But look at what they are doing now. How can they, the last one that even got me pissed off was the situation whereby they said, I heard them say, you know, they said, they came on national television and told us that why they cannot reject those names. Those should be not participate in the primaries. That is the court that will decide. What kind of INEC is that? You know, what kind of INEC is that? I let them not push us to the wall. So it's really annoying. And I want your guests to tell us, even the Electoral Act we have now, when are they supposed to end the continuous registration? When is it 7 months to elections? Look at this. So many people are going to this franchise are not their own. It's not for their own reasons. They get there. They don't have enough facilities. They don't have enough manpower. Just you ask me. You know, they decide where to go to even register some people. What the hell? I hope they are listening to me. Let them not push us to the wall. We've had enough. We've had enough. Enough is enough. Let me borrow the statement of Mr. President about education, but even then, he has not solved it. It's not enough.
Yes.
You know, I don't know. We are going crazy in this country. Let us not make us go crazy. It's really not fun again. Please and please, I want your guys to tell us, are they obeying it? Are they obeying? Why is the flagrant abuse of law? Why are they not obeying the new election as to when they are supposed to stop? They said they want to clean up. What are they cleaning up in 7 months? 7 good months. After a general election, 4 or 6 months after a general election, INEC should start continuous registration and then stop within the ambit of the law what the law dictates as to when they are supposed to stop for the next. For this one, it was just a year plus. You know what I'm talking about. God bless you. Let's talk about this country. I'm really mad at them.
Thank you very much for calling in, Ada. I have to go to,
No, just to react to Ada's statement in terms of the voter education registration.
It will come to you now. Okay. It will come to you, sir. Madam Ada is, putting out the ire of people who are watching INEC conduct itself the way it has been conducting itself, that had earned it praise in the recent past. And now for very much, in fact, Ada is among those who have called in and have said, look, I have to give some kudos to INEC.
Yes.
Now she's turning around and saying, they should not take us for granted, though.
We are watching.
As Charlie Boy would say, let them not think that when Momo is doing also.
That
Okay,
underscores,
don't do that.
that underscores the attention being paid or given to this process at the moment. And these things should not be taken for granted. The way it evolves and consolidates and crystallizes is that as you find increased interest and enthusiasm expressed in practical participation, you build legitimacy as against validity. What gives legitimacy to the process is the participation
of the people.
So where a people are already very circumspect and are pointing out what we call recondite areas and telling you, no, we also have read the law. It cannot be what you are saying. You better sit up. The reason is simple. Nigeria is buffeted on all
sides
by existential crisis, including violent behaviors. So if people want to return to civil process of behavior, and the only way they could imagine is to conceive of people who can pull us back from the brinks and put us on the path of progress. And that is true election.
Exactly. And INEC should play a leading role in that.
INEC has been given very wide powers. My brother, if you read section 153 on one hand, visit the third schedule, section 14, item F, particularly the D section, you will see the wide powers that INEC has constitutionally. I'm not talking of statutorily.
I hear you. But Okoye has also been on record as saying, I think I read an interview that I read it, and he was saying that, look, for all of that power, INEC does not have the power of arrest, and we have no police power.
We're not talking of arrest.
Exactly.
We're talking of the ones they have.
Moving the process.
Even the ones they have.
Yes. Why, before now, have you heard about monitoring election? 2010 Electoral Act, 2006 Electoral Act.
You're right.
There is a reason.
Okay.
In short, it does not end at monitoring election. You produce a report. The whole idea is to be able to juxtapose what you witnessed.
And some reports are reportedly not even accepted by the commission once it has been written, and forwarded.
If it is at variance with what happened there.
Exactly.
And that is section 84, subsection 13.
Okay. Mr. Joshua, thank you very much for holding on in Irewolide, Ogun State. Good morning to you.
Uncle Yori, good morning. How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for calling.
Thank you for keeping the right discussions going. At this point in our lives in Nigeria, I know that INEC has an important role to play, and I'm sure nobody is joking about that fact. The election that has just been concluded in Osun is a testimony or a testimonial of that, and I think we can build on that. I'm just at this point looking at the general picture of having a citizenship discussion in Nigeria. And I know this platform you are using has helped us a lot. We have talked about the Nigeria of INEC doing their thing, government doing their thing, and then everybody doing their thing. Can we also talk about the Nigeria of we, the citizens, doing our own thing to support the process, to get things going, so that we could get to a point where I am not talking from the point of I am APC, I am PDP, I am Igbo, I am Yoruba. Can we come to that point where people who are Nigerians, who are ready to take responsibility for this country, and we talk about the rights, the responsibilities, and the duties of us as citizens to get this process of nation building on course. Whether we are Christian, whether we are Muslims, The first thing is that we are human beings. Because in INEC, there are Nigerians that are there. In PDP is Nigerians. The Igbo tribe is Nigeria. The Yoruba tribe, the Hausa tribe is Nigerians first. Are we ever going to get to that point, Uncle Yori, where we could have a citizen discussion that we, the citizens of Nigeria, are sitting down and we are saying that by point of responsibility, by point of duty, it is time for Nigeria to work, and we are ready to make it work. So I'm sure you will find a way of starting, discussion around that, so that all of these issues that we are just speaking here and there, they are, for me, not the main issues. We'll go back to.
Thank you very much for calling in. Mr. Joshua from Ilewalede in Ogun State. Wale, you seem to be busy otherwise. We'd like.
No, I'm with you.
Okay. Because multitasking has its place. But
it's monitoring the voters.
I think, are you monitoring the voters?
No, I'm really with you.
Okay.
I'm thinking of how the reaction to the last caller vis-a-vis my sister in Jos.
Okay, please.
And of course,
now, because you wanted to come in then.
I will just quickly refer all those who are listening and watching this program, including INEC officers, that the law that binds them is the Electoral Act 2022. I'm not a mathematician, but I did a little bit of arithmetic. And the law in section 9, subsection 6 says, I'll read it out. The registration of voters, updating and revision of the registered voters under this section shall stop not later than 90 days before any election, and I repeat with emphasis, any election covered by this act. And I know between now and February, even let's give it January, is far, far more than 90 days. Even if they extend it to September ending, it's still far more than 90 days. Simple calculation, 30 days make a month. Let's leave it at September, October, November. That's 90 days.
So what's the import of that?
The import is that they should not try to close or any attempt to do that. We'll get a mandamus. We did it against National Identity Card Management Commission. Nigerians are yearning that they want to vote. For starters, they created all the difficulties. I have my people. They will go to the registration center, they don't get registered. They will go day one, day two, they don't get registered. They go there sometimes, the equipments are not there, working very well. And you now say the fault will now be visited. Is it possible, my brother, that you visit the mistake, your own mistake, on the innocent people? I hope that they are listening. Again, I'll repeat the Ayinla Omowura's song, but I will not sing it. That I am sorry for you. That's why I'm advising you.
Okay. Comrade Andy calls in from Zaria in Kaduna. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Please continue.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Well, yeah. I have to say yes. It's a bit difficult, but please continue.
Okay. Please, I just want to say this. In my contribution to the discussion, I just want to say that they said 100 days for the thief, but 1 day for the honor. It is time for us now, as electorate, that with this electoral bill, it has actually given us hope. It has given us the opportunity to be able to count our vote. So I think INEC, just like others have said, I don't know. In fact, that day I was very, very annoyed when Festus has been very good in doing his things. But that day, in fact, I was insulted because he said it very clearly. How can you become a candidate? It's just like somebody having a certificate without going to school. It's not possible. So how will he say that? Because he was emphasizing that it's only candidate, that is what the law says. How do you not become a candidate without a form? So I think maybe just like we have said, they should be very careful at this time. They have actually given us a tip of the cup on our teeth, and we're happy that they have done very well. We are waiting for them. 2023, we're going to cast our vote, and our vote should be counted.
All right, then.
So nobody should play with us and just be doing things like that. So INEC should be a bit careful. Let us count our vote. This time around, we are prepared to vote. And in fact, the days are even longer. We are anxiously waiting for this day to come, 2023, so that we'll cast our vote, so that our vote will count now. We want people to go and represent us in the National Assembly, people to go and represent us in our Executive Council. It's not just anybody to go and just sit down there and just waste our time. So I think we're a bit disfranchised for quite a long time, and this time around, we want to reclaim our right. That is what I want to say.
Thank you very much for calling in to say it, Comrade Andy from Zaria there. Mr. Lusheye is calling in. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. Please continue.
Good morning to Mr. Wale and Malachy.
Good morning.
In the recent past, it has always been that the voters have a party, the security men are not doing their job. Now, it is now the turn of INEC that is trying to truncate the whole thing. Look at what is happening in Ebonyi. The woman was declared winner outside the law, which says that no one can contest for 2 elective polls within the same calendar year. Someone is coming up and they are conducting another primary. Where are we going? Is it INEC that will now truncate this whole thing that we've started to enjoy? Please, I think your station and other stations should make this a focal point. Let's beam our light on Ebonyi and what is going on there. Should it be INEC that will truncate the whole thing? Thank you. Good morning, Nigerians.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lusheye, for calling in. And speaking of that situation, just reminds one of Delta. In Delta State, for instance, do they have a governorship candidate? That's the question there. There's somewhere else where, in fact, in quite a number of places where the candidates are missing because of the, shall we say, well, what INEC must think of as the intricacies of the Electoral Act vis-a-vis the way it conducts itself.
So in Delta State, there are political parties that have conducted primaries. I am particularly interested in that because I'm from Delta State. The APC has a candidate. The PDP had gone into that election, concluded it, but on the basis of the credentials submitted by the declared winner, one of the candidates approached the court, and the court handed down a judgment. Now, it does not lie in the mouth of INEC to choose and pick which judgment to be obeyed. In fact, Mr. Wale will bear me out. If it is the Federal High Court, and I imagine it was because that's Justice Taiwo, I remember, then you are caught by Section 287 of the Constitution that insists that everybody, every institution, every statutory body is bound to obey and enforce judgments of court.
Competent jurisdiction.
So where is INEC? I understand instead of obeying the court, they started writing. What is that aspect of
one moment, please.
The confusion?
Ernest in Enugu State. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Yori. And Mr. Malachy and
Ogunade.
Colleague. Good
morning, Mr. Ernest.
Good morning, all.
Good morning, my brother.
Yeah, please, my own contribution is this. Our blame shouldn't go to INEC alone. Our judges as well are to be blamed in all this problem. Look at the judgment judge gave in Ebonyi State. He said that somebody cannot contest for 2 elections in 1 year, electoral season. Do you understand? And he go ahead and asked the same person, the governor of Ebonyi State, to contest again in the same primaries. What type of judgment is that? Their judges are creating a lot of confusion here and there. And now he joined and contested on Sunday. You understand? Which to me and a lot of Nigerians, that is a confusion in itself. And these are the reason why we are getting all this type of shenanigans here and there. And those are one of the reasons that we have Supreme Court governor today in Imo State. And look at what is happening there in some other areas. Please, our judges as well should be called to order so that they will, go through our laws very, very well before issuing it out. Please. God bless you all.
Thank you very much for calling in. I wonder how important you think that point is, that, look, you spread some of this to even the judiciary itself, because they are the people that come up with these sometimes opposing, conflicting pronouncements. And, we've just heard that INEC, is seen by some, by their conduct, to be cherry picking. And that simply should not be.
No, we will not bring the judiciary here. Why? Because the judiciary, just as my brother has quoted in section 288, is clear that all judgments made by the courts of competent jurisdiction must be obeyed. The only option
even when they're conflicting?
Conflicting or no, the only way, you can't go, look, we're in a civil society, my brother. Nobody can go physically, we don't, you see, this is not the Luther right that you go on the street and be protesting a judgment of court. There are channels. Once a magistrate court meets a judgment or gives a judgment, you are not okay by it, you go to the High Court. If the High Court's judgment is not okay by you, you go to the Court of Appeal. After that, if it's not okay by you, you go to the Supreme Court. And after that, to God. Not that you now start fighting and causing chaos in the land. So, and you cannot sit on your appeal that say what they say in the court is stupid. In fact, like one of my colleagues will say, if a drunken judge makes an order, a judgment, you dare not disobey.
Okay.
Your right way to do is to do an appeal. Not that you now go and sit down and be cherry picking.
The courts must be sacrosanct.
Sacrosanct.
And their pronouncements.
Let me now land it there.
Wait now, because in the meantime, Chukuma has also called in from Agbo in Delta State. Good morning, Chukuma. Go ahead, please.
Okay. You see, it is the political parties that are forcing INEC to do all these things. But a law is there already. How the candidates can emerge. To me, the only problem we're going to have now again is our judiciary. If they will try to make a good judgment concerning the law. Because any person now that the party speaks, I know the law will still remove them, because the law is there that nobody can buy two forms, two different office for one year. So any party who go against that law to put the candidate, definitely he will lose from the court. It's only where the judiciary now want to go there and collect money to go otherwise. But in the next sense, no judge.
Well, thank you very much. We got what you said.
If
we're
you allow me to,
yes, please, because
a caveat. I thank him from Agbo. In short, I live in Agbo up to today. What you need to understand, in addition to what you're saying, is that before you get to the Supreme Court, to the courts as you advocate, INEC, go and see the requirement for appointment of Nigerians into INEC. One of the qualifications is that you must be somebody of proven integrity.
And do not belong to a political party.
That requirement of proven integrity presupposes that you cannot be under pressure. What pressure? Is it the pressure of the gun?
Powers that be?
Okay.
And we have seen members of INEC dramatize this integrity in a way that restores some measure of confidence. So those who are playing the fifth columnist, who are beginning to show their dirty fingers, are the ones we need to isolate and call them out.
We're going to have to leave it there.
Because our lives, collective lives, is in this whole thing.
Well, it looks like, at least as far as our program this morning is concerned, INEC has got its warning that, look, you don't want to be squandering the goodwill.
We had also praised them.
That these people have also
as much as they were doing good.
Exactly. Because we just thought we should air this whole matter about contentious publications and positions, the way the public understands it. We're going to have to leave it here, but I must thank you guys, both gentlemen, Barrister Malachy Ugwumadu and Wale Ogunade. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I wish we could have another 1 hour. It wouldn't even be enough. But that's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Folaring. Bye-bye for now.